I promised I would do this and I always forget. Okay, so first of all, I'm excited we're here, you guys. Like, I have not been this excited about a program in a really long time. I know that it's going to be a little bit bigger of a commitment, but I think that, you know, perfection is, like, don't let perfection knock you off if you don't get there, obviously. Just stick with it and trust the process, and I guarantee you'll see results anyways. Some people went ahead and dove in this week. Totally fine. This is going to be one of those things that you do on your own terms, obviously, but if you have already dove in, please take the steps that the book outlines for you. Please take the steps that are like typical prep steps, you know, like take your measurements, take your photos. I hear so many people who just want to like rely on what the scale says, and then they get depressed when 2 weeks goes by and nothing has happened. When in reality, like last night, somebody hadn't seen a scale or inches move, and I put her pictures side by side and I showed her, I'm like, something's happening. Maybe it's not that you're seeing an adjustment in the areas that are like totally standard for Beachbody to say you measure, but clearly you're seeing results. And I always encourage, like, if you know that your problem area is, like, for me, it's not my waist, it's my like lower belly area. So I always measure that secondarily. So don't just stick with what the little guides say. Like, obviously measure the things that bother you. You know, like if you have calves that you don't love and you want to work on them, measure your calves. If you have a little like belly tire like I inherited, then measure that area. Like, that is one of the things that women struggle with. That like waist where your belly button is isn't always the greatest indicator. If hips are what bother you, measure a few areas of your hips. Just make sure you make note of like where you're measuring and go from there. Obviously in her book, like if you guys have this B100 book, there is the spot to, in the beginning, put your measurements. And Beachbody always does this, but it just says chest, right arm, left arm, waist, hips, right thigh, left thigh. That is not everything on your body. You know, like it's great to measure certain areas where you're going to see the most difference, but you know yourself better than Beachbody knows you. Don't take this as like what you have to do. Of course, photos are everything. I always say take multiple angles of photos as well. So even if you've like dove in already, if you've not done this, do it today. Like, mark it in your phone and take as many photos as you want. Like, we often do, like, for me, sometimes I'll do the leaning over ones where like it shows my belly. And I know that that's like, you know, not what they would ever tell you to do as like a before photo, but for us, especially if you've had kids, you know that that's an area where like, I want to see that tighten up, right? So make sure you take photos of the stuff that matters to you. I know that like calves, again, I'll come back to it, but for a lot of people, they want to work on their calves. So taking photos of that is a big deal. If you want to see like more of like your back muscles, like take a pic of you like flexing of your back muscles and see the progress there. You're going to see progress in so many weird areas with this program, really with any program, just because like this program, if you've noticed already from like Total Body Badass or any of the bar related, they focus on really tiny muscle groups, not your typical just biceps, triceps, you know, like chest and back. Like, it's going to be a lot more tiny muscle groups in your back that you're going to see pop, and tiny muscle groups in your arm and your shoulders that you're going to see pop. So take pictures of as much as you want. I always just say too, like, I have people ask me, do you want me to send it to you? And what we can do is, if you guys want, because I know that like things can happen with your phone or things can get deleted, we can create a photo album in our group, and you can save your own little, like, I think you can make your own album within the group if you want, or we could just do a before photos album and you can save all your photos that you want. If that makes you totally uncomfortable and makes you want to vomit, don't do it. Just send it to me. Send it to yourself. You can send like photos to yourself in Facebook Messenger, and then it's always like in there as a record, or just put it in your phone as favorites. I keep like a running notebook entry in my phone of like, it'll say 2019 programs, start date. Here's all the measurements I want to keep track of. And it's right here. You probably can't see it, but I keep it all in here. And the cool thing that Beachbody does is whenever you guys finish your program, you can enter your results on the Beachbody Challenge, which is just a website. And it'll ask what program you did, what supplements you used, what your starting weight, ending weight, starting measurements, ending measurements. And then it will ask you to load your photos. And you can actually be entered into a chance to win money. And it's like real money. They give daily prizes out to winners. And if you haven't done this yet and you've completed several programs, you can still go back and do it. You can also submit after every program. And what you'll see is at the end of the year, like when we get our big coach summit thing, they give a $100,000 prize out to one male and one female, but those people have already won like a daily prize of a couple $100 or $1,000 too. So it's worth it to do. And then if nothing else, you get a tank top. I know some people are like super motivated by clothes. And so they'll send you a tank top whenever you send in your first results for the year. So do keep all of this for yourself, and you could send in your results to the Beachbody Challenge, and we'll post about it in the group. And then if you do a 3-day refresh before you start, you can enter your refresh results into the Beachbody Challenge as well. And it's just nice to like load it up in there. You can like recognize your coach if you feel like your coach helped you through it. If you ever win money, your coach gets like a certain like, I don't know, I've never won it, but like a bonus from Beachbody. If you ever bring people into this with you and they see results with it, you'll get a piece of a prize too, which is really cool because it is really about accountability, right? Like that's what this call tonight is for. We are better when we do it together. So that's a really cool aspect. Taking the photos and measurements is going to be huge. So that is one step. I will say, I hear so many people just dive right in. They skip over it. Don't skip it. It's so important, and it's what keeps you motivated as you go. And then you'll see in this B100 book, if you didn't get it, don't worry. You can just still do it on your own. Like I don't picture myself actually cutting out a picture and pasting it in here. And if you want to, because you like to see pretty like scrapbooky type things, go for it. I'm just terrible at that stuff. But you'll see in here that every 20 workouts, she puts a spot for you to track. So if you do this program on like 100 days, it'll be every 20 days. If you do it shorter, you'll obviously do that more frequently. On that note, I just want to show you really quickly, if you don't know yet, where the calendars are. So I'm going to share my screen and log in to Beachbody On Demand. I should have done this in advance, sorry. So if you go into the program every day on like a Roku or a Fire Stick, chances are you probably haven't necessarily seen all of the program materials. But the nice thing about the computer access is you can see a ton of nutrition information. So I'll show it all to you kind of while we're in here. So Beachbody On Demand, like the menu looks just different if you go through a Roku or a Fire Stick. That being said, sorry, this always when I share a screen like makes my computer start to go slower. And I have 2 on-demand accounts, so my stuff shows up in weird places. Let me see. So you can go to workouts. And here we go. So, oh, you know what? I shouldn't have logged in on this account. So whenever you're like a coach, you can set up multiple accounts to like benefit different accounts. I'm not sure that this is the one that I've purchased it through. Well, maybe it'll show up. No, it's all locked. Shoot. Okay, sorry guys. Let me log in on the other one. All right, here we go. So if you go under program materials, it will show you right away the different calendar options. And some people probably skipped over this. You get the wall calendar, but if you notice, it doesn't tell you like what day of the week to do anything, because this is totally like you pick which calendar works best for you. So you have a 100-day calendar in here, and then you have a 60-day calendar. You can also vary from either of these. These tell you exactly, like whenever you open them up, what workouts to do on what day if you want to finish the program within 60 days, but it still doesn't say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It just kind of gives you the option to pair it as you want. So that's really nice. I will say some people in our group are going to be doing like boot camp style workouts, totally separate and apart from Beachbody. It might take you longer than 100 days. Maybe you're going to be doubling up with your boot camp and morning meltdown. Maybe you're going to be following morning meltdown on a 50 or 60-day calendar. Totally fine with this, you guys. Like I would just say you listen to your body as you go. If you feel super tired as you go, or if your muscles are really sore, or if you're trying to train for a marathon, you know, you might not necessarily want to do it in this, like, you know, double up order, because it might just be too much for you. And so if that's the case, talk to your coach, talk to me or anybody else who's a coach in the group, and just ask what opinions are, you know, like if I were training for a marathon, I probably wouldn't be doing 2 workouts a day. I might just be doing 1 a day and then running 3 to 4 times a week. But I probably would take like a rest day or do maybe something from our yoga studio on that day. If I had a boot camp class I really loved, which I know we have a couple ladies that do, I might do this, you know, 100 workouts every other day, which would take me 200 days. It's not that big of a deal. I know that some people get like the competitive gene whenever they look and see what everyone else is doing. I even like have seen, you know, some people are frustrated that other people have started this week. Just know that this program is totally meant to do on whatever pace you want to do it. And that's an amazing thing. If you decide one day you log in and you feel really great after that first 20-minute workout and you want to do another one, do it. If you're like, nope, that's all I want to do, no big deal. Let it go, you know? That's the one part of this that I think you kind of adjust to, especially being in these group settings. But just know if you want to double up, this would be the doubles calendar that you could use as a go-by. And it's been well thought out versus just kind of like throwing it together. And then if you want to do it in 100 days, which I think is amazing, you know, you do it based on this 100-day calendar. And you'll see like there's a rest day every 5 days. So it gives you a nice like progression. And then as you can see, I'm sure if you're doing the prep week of workouts, or if you've already looked into the first 20 of phase 1, there are 10 different workout styles, but no workout is going to be necessarily the same, and it's going to increase in difficulty as you go. So as you start off the first 10 workouts, this like order will be the same throughout the whole program. It's just the style of workout, the intensity level will start to go a little bit differently. Every workout that you'll see, if you haven't seen it in the prep workout yet, because I think the prep workout's a little vague. I'm like, here's how you make it harder. Here's how you make it easier at times. On the actual workouts, you will see that there is going to be a modifier or an intensifier almost for everything. And I think there's like 2 different modifiers for most workouts. I get a lot of people that ask, like, how do you see who the modifier is and actually like focus in on them? So I just want to show you real quick if you're somebody who needs to follow the modifier a little bit more. There is a view that you can do. This might take me a second to figure out. I think it's down here. No, let's see. I know on most of the programs, there's like a specific button that you press to get the modified workout going. Maybe on this one, they decided not to do it just because they do like such a big scan, but thought I would log in real quick and try to show you. Okay, I don't see it specifically. I know on some of them you can choose to just follow the modifier, but I think maybe on this one, since there's so many variations, it doesn't do that. Yeah? Do you know where it is?
It's Stacy. I tried to look because I have a girl who I know is following like more than likely like the modifier, and I couldn't find it like in Lift 4.
Lift 4 is like the one where it like kind of started as being a specific thing.
And so I looked that same way as you would for Lift 4, and I couldn't find it for for this one. So I don't know if it works.
Maybe they don't do it really too because there's like a live DJ and they want to be able to show everybody like, here's the party in the room kind of thing. But just know that like she will be showing you in the sample week who the modifiers are. So those are the people you'll want to look for as you're doing the actual program. And then if you see here, every program tells you what you need. You really just need light, medium, and heavy dumbbells. If you've noticed, I noticed today or yesterday on the Core Inferno prep one, it says have weights. You don't need weights at all for it. So in general, I will say these workouts, unless it's the upbeat or downbeat strength, a lot of times the weights are going to be a little lighter than what you're used to, which is weird because you're going to want to go like what you do in a gym, because in the gym you do a lot of steady state like weight movements. This is higher up and you're doing tempo changes and beat changes, and you'll see your muscles get fatigued a lot faster. And so make sure to have that lighter set of weights nearby, and don't let that get to you. It's still going to be showing you changes in your body, and it's still going to be showing you results. And I think it's really awesome actually sometimes whenever you do decrease the weight a little bit and you increase the number of reps that you're doing and the type of movements that you're doing, what sort of muscle changes that you'll see. So if you've been doing some like pretty standard weight workouts for a while, you will, yeah, okay, thanks Molly. You'll see some changes regardless with your muscles. So that is kind of the piece about the workouts. The nutrition plan, I know, is what most people are going to have the questions about. So I'll spend a little bit more time now going through that. If you miss a day, you guys, if you feel like for a whole week you get thrown off, I get asked this question all the time. Do I just start over? My response is always no, because I think that is like more defeating mentally. I always just say pick back up where you started to fall off and then just start fresh. And then if you just don't feel motivated to do this, my like theory is if you press play, you get 5 minutes in, you'll start to feel it and it's going to be over before you know it. Motivation is kind of bullshit in my opinion. Sorry if you have kids around. I think so many people wait to feel excited about it. I don't really love to work out. I know a lot of the ladies I bring into this don't love to work out either. We're all just like, ugh, we know we need to do it. If you just get started, I promise you'll get excited about it and it will feel better. There's just never going to be that perfect moment or that perfect time to do it. So make sure you pick your workout block each day and you try to stick with it. If you're somebody who wants to be in one of our like video threads and you're not in one yet, please, please, please post it in the group or message me or Stacy and we'll plug you into one. We have like an AM one and everybody kind of does like a little bit of a staggered log on schedule. I mean, I try to be consistent, but this week I know it's still prep week, so I haven't been that diligent about it. But I will say like I'm pretty much in the 5 to 6 range on Eastern Standard Time. We've got some ladies that are Mountain Time, some ladies that are, well, I've got some Central, and then we also have some Pacific Time. So we kind of have the full range, which means that there's probably an accountability partner somewhere within this group for you. Plugging into one of the chat threads is huge because if nothing else, you see everybody else logging on to do it. And you're like, I need to get up and I need to do this too. So let us know, let us plug you into one. And it's not like you have to do the same workout as that person. You don't have to start at the exact same time, if nothing else. So it's just like, yep, I'll be on. And I have that sort of added accountability. So that to me is like one of my favorite pieces of this. And I think that the morning part of it will help if you can get into a routine of it. Just pick your time and try to stick to it for yourself. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing really quickly because I think the nutrition piece of this is maybe a little more confusing based on the book. So you obviously, you have this book. If you got digital only, you should be able to go into the program materials and view it. I just want to show you in here what the plan looks like. So just FYI, if you've been doing Beachbody for a while, you're going to look at this and think it's super watered down. And it's going to be confusing because you're used to being told exactly how many servings of what food to eat. Well, Beachbody came out with these nutrition-specific programs for you to buy separately. And they are now dumbing down the nutrition plans that you get with this because they want to encourage you to buy Ultimate Portion Fix or 2B Mindset. Not exactly my favorite thing, to be honest, because I just feel like some people are already like, you have enough sense to meal prep that you don't need a full course. But I'll just tell you a few like cheats on this system if you don't want to pay for anything else. And we're not encouraging you to pay for anything else because you've already paid to be here. We get that. But I just want to show you, obviously, they give you a really basic plan if you want to lose weight. They give you a basic plan if you want to maintain weight. You just really plug in your weight and it shows you about how many calories a day, but it doesn't necessarily tell you what that's supposed to consist of. It just says, here's how many meals and here's how many snacks you have. This is often where I feel like people don't get the nutrition that they need when you're shooting for calories. Calories don't necessarily mean that you're getting good nutrition. They just mean that you are like trying to cut back in a certain area, right? Like I've done Weight Watchers. I've eaten the veggie sub just so I could drink a whole bottle of wine thing. Like that's how points work. It's not healthy for a lot of people. That was me in college. And I'm just telling you now, like the benefit to a lot of Beachbody programs is that the Portion Fix plan tells you, here's how many proteins, here's how many carbs, here's how many healthy fats. And it makes so much more sense for your body than shooting for calories. It's more on the macro side, but counting macros is a little more confusing. So you have the option to just follow this if you want to keep it simple. And she obviously gives you a ton of recipes in here. And I've tried a lot this week. I will say the crockpot chicken tacos were amazing. The Tex-Mex scramble is great. I made that this week. The cauliflower casserole, I thought my husband was going to like hurt me. That's all I made on Monday. And he's like, is this dinner? But it's a Sicilian style cauliflower casserole. I did make up some turkey sausage later in the week and I started making it as like a lunch bowl and it was actually really good. I just put a little red sauce on top. And then the, maybe that's all I made. Oh no, the turkey goat cheese avocado rolls. This is okay. I think sometimes lettuce wraps gross me out a little bit, if I'm being honest. But I love turkey and goat cheese, so that combination was good. But try out the recipes. These recipes, though, you guys, are all in the Beachbody blog. And in the units of our group, I actually put links to like the Beachbody blog recipes. There's a lot of good stuff on there. The other thing, and this is where I'll share the screen with you and give you like the full rundown of what I would do if you want more direction on nutrition and you do not want to pay for anything else. Okay, so take note of this part because I'm going to show you what Portion Fix really is in a simple way where you don't have to go out and like buy the full nutrition course. And you can see where some other resources for nutrition are. And the last thing I'll say on that is I'm going to be posting a unit in our group. I haven't done it yet, that has all the like menus I've ever made. And all the menus I've ever made are basically a 1,200 to 1,500 calorie a day Portion Fix meal plan. And they're a little overwhelming, some of them, because I stuff a ton of recipes into them. But feel free to pull those recipes out and make like, hey, I like that breakfast recipe, I'll try that this week, or dinner. And that is something that works really well with like the basics of this meal plan too. So I'm gonna share my screen for the last time now and show you guys where the basic Portion Fix information is, to where you don't have to just like go buy a separate plan. So if you go here under nutrition, just first and foremost, you will see there's a ton of recipes here, and these are all like cross-linked on the Beachbody blog, which is nice. And they also have Shakeology. There's like a Shakeology show with Shakeology recipes. And I'll mention that in a little bit too, because I think Shakeology, some people are like, I can't believe you asked me to drink this. It's so gross. And oftentimes you're just making it not in the best way. But Fixate, this is a really amazing resource right here with a ton of recipes. And it's like, I always tell people, if you like Food Network, you probably would like this. You know, you get a ton of videos right here, and they come out with new recipes each week. And it's Autumn, who's the 21 Day Fix person, and her brother, who's actually a chef. I think they own a restaurant together in LA now too. But they have, sorry, a web browser is slowing me down. I don't know what web browser it is, but we'll see. But if you go under videos, if it comes up, let me get rid of some of the stuff. Maybe this will help. Sorry guys, I'm like notorious for bad internet. Okay, here we go, videos. There are a ton of videos right here right away, like easy egg salad, marinated eggs, noodles, and then you have like breakfast, entree, sides, and every one of these recipes, if you click on the like PDF, the resource document, sorry, right here, it'll actually tell you like what this is. Like this is probably a veggie and maybe a protein or whatever. So it'll tell you like how it equates to containers, which is what I'm going to talk about in a second. And then if you click on the resources, you'll actually see there's like a 300+ page PDF document of recipes right in there. A lot of people miss this stuff on demand, which is the only reason why I'm telling you, because there's so many good resources in here that if you don't play around with it, you don't really know that it exists. Okay, so I'm not necessarily going to go into it right now because clearly my internet is not complying. But under resources, just know that there are a ton of recipes, and it's broken down on like desserts and cocktails and kid-friendly recipes and snacks and lunch and breakfast. It's got a lot of stuff. So everything that's pretty much in the nutrition guide that we have should be reflected in some format in there. The last thing I want to show you is and this thing is just aggravating me. Okay. Going back to workouts. Oh, take a moment to stretch. Okay, so if you go back to workouts and then you look at our good old school 21-day fix, this is what I'm going to recommend. You can obviously look at probably most of the newer programs we have, and they have a nutrition plan. But I'm just going to suggest that you go to like the good old school 21-day fix, which is right here. It's under the workouts. You can go into the program and you can pull up the program materials, and you see right in here, there is a nutrition guide. And this is what I would do if I did not want to like pay for Ultimate Portion Fix, but I wanted a more structured eating plan. And maybe you don't, totally fine. Don't feel pressured by this at all, you guys. I just want to show you it's here so you know that there's another way that you could do this. Old school 21-day fix though is just portion control, and it tells you exactly how many servings of every food group to eat in a day. And if you go through this nutrition plan, you can use it right along with the morning meltdown. And so you put your weight in here, you times it by 11 for your caloric baseline, you add 400 calories because that's what it's assuming that you burn, and then you subtract 750 to figure out what your maintenance calories are, and then it tells you what plan you should fall into. And it's really simple, you guys. 1,200, 1,500 calories, 1,500 to 1,800, 1,800 to 2,099, but you're not actually going to count calories. You're going to look at how many servings of each food group it tells you to have in a day. So for me, a lot of times, if I'm not doing like super, super intense workouts, I'm going to be under A, and I'm going to eat 4 servings of veggies in a day, 2 servings of fruits, 4 servings of protein, 2 servings of carbs, and 1 healthy fat, which is basically like cheese or avocado, and then 1 cedar dressing, 3 oils or nut butters, which is like peanut or almond butter. Don't get super confused as I'm talking about this because it just takes a minute to go read through on your own. But the nice thing about this is you can take it and you can say, okay, now I know like what I'm aiming for. And there are like sheets in here where you can kind of put what you want to eat for each meal. If it were me and I were getting started, I would probably just do this because I think it's really simple. And then you can go through the recipes that she puts in our nutrition guide, and she'll tell you exactly what the container equivalents are for each recipe. And you can kind of plug it in and you can figure out what you should eat in a day. So just another option too is that there is a Nutrition Plus app for Beachbody, and you can plug in like how many servings of each food group you want to have in a day, and you can tally them off in the Nutrition Plus app if you prefer to just track your food as you go. And I will post some of this information in our challenge group, like in the units. You can go back and reference it. But just know that like this, you're like, oh, I don't have the containers. Now what do I do? Okay, so a veggie or a fruit serving is a cup. So really, if you're like following plan A, you're going to eat 4 cups of veggies a day, 2 cups of fruit. Protein is 3/4 of a cup. Carbs is 1/2 a cup. Healthy fats is 1/3 of a cup. And then the seeds dressings is 2 tablespoons. So it's not super complex. It's just like once you get it down, you kind of know what to do. Like now that I'm 4 years in, I really don't measure a lot of stuff. But I will say whenever I know I'm under on veggies or eating too many carbs, I'll pull them back out and like reassess myself. And so that's the nice part. I will say if weight loss is a goal, if you know that you undereat certain food groups, or if you undereat period in a day, or if you tend to night binge, going to something really basic like this is helpful because it really just tells you like, here's how much you're supposed to have in a day. And it's probably more food than you're used to in most food groups. And it will help you feel more energy. It'll help you see less cravings. It'll help you lose weight. And honestly, it kind of gives you like a handle on food, which is what I needed when I started this. I really had no idea what I was supposed to be eating. So this is just like the very basic meal plan that I would start with if I wanted more structure than what the program gave me. Of course, there's so many variations of this and it gets way more complex. Like if you want to time out when you eat what and things like that, just know though that if you kind of want basic info on where to start, this is where I would go. You just go under 21-day fix and you pull up the nutrition guide, and all of the recipes under that Fix 8 cooking show go with it. All of the recipes under this Beachbody blog here, which the Beachbody blog is actually like really amazing because it's very simple stuff, but you can often find stuff like based on like, oh, I want a summer recipe, or I want a fall. They'll post a ton of stuff, and you'll see there's just a lot of good basic recipes, and everything has a translation for these portions, which is nice. And then I will post all the meal plans that we have, and then I post recipes as I go too. for what I think is good and what other people will like. And then of course I have stuff where I just really like the recipe and I try to translate it. I can do that for you too. If you follow To Be Mindset, that's a different program that we have. Just follow it as you typically do. Like no additional, like specifics on that. And then if you follow something else, like if you follow Weight Watchers Points, or if you do intermittent fasting, or if you're keto or something like that, talk to your coach, because I think there's always a way to kind of mesh it with what we do. I will say intermittent fasting, you could still do it with this plan. You just want to make sure you're eating the right amount of food in the window that you're eating. And most intermittent fasters don't realize that, and they don't eat enough even in that small window. So make sure your nutrition is on point during that eating window. Keto, I mean, pork rinds are not on our meal plan. There's a little bit of a different way we do fats. Like I don't think high fat necessarily aligns, but we can work on the like low carb part, because that's obviously what we follow. And then if you're paleo or vegetarian or vegan or dairy free, any of that can be combined with this. And the recipes actually will tell you, like if they, I don't think they say paleo, but they'll say gluten free, vegan. Oh wait, maybe they do say paleo. I see the purple pea. So you should be able to, oh, high in protein is purple pea, sorry. They don't say paleo. But hold on, I just saw it says ovo-lacto vegetarian. I have no idea what that means. There's like so many things out there now. It's in the beginning of the book. Maybe if you know what that is, you could fill me in. But, that just means, well, I don't know what that means. Anyways, so there are obviously variations for a lot of different dietary restrictions in here. The last thing I'll mention before I just open it up to you guys, obviously, is Shakeology. So I will say this. A lot of people make Shakeology once, and they're like, I hate it. It's so gross. It's like, tastes like planty or thick or chalky. If it tastes like that, it's probably because you need a better recipe. So I posted a lot of recipes in the Shakeology section of our units. Put your liquid into your blender first. I didn't realize that was like a not known thing, because that's the way I always would have made a smoothie. But I was talking to somebody about that last week, and she goes, no, I've never made it that way. I would put the powder in first. Don't put the powder in first. It like clunks it up at the bottom. It doesn't give you like the right consistency. So put liquid in first. Then I would put powder or fruit or spinach or anything else that you want to add to it, and then ice on top, and then blend it up. If you don't want it to be super thick, just add more liquid. If you want it to be super thick, stick to the 8 ounces. If you are usually bad about getting veggies in throughout the day, spinach breaks down into Shakeology like nothing. I've heard frozen cauliflower and frozen zucchini do as well. I've never used either of those. And then somebody else told me something weird, but I don't know. It was somebody put carrots in it or something. I would just say though, if at first you're like, I don't love the flavor, don't get super weird on what you put in it. Just keep it basic. And if you know that like, I love mint chocolate chip, like let's send you a mint chocolate chip Shakeology recipe and you start there. Or key lime pie, or snickerdoodle. There's so much stuff out there, you guys. And there's ways to make it like, you just kind of like dress it up a little bit at first. Over time, you'll probably get to where you're like water and spinach or power greens like me. But it took me a while to get there, and just know that like your taste buds are not adjusted to that level of like plantiness that it has in it. And they will adjust as you clean up your eating habits and you get, Shakeology in your system. The other thing about Shakeology is if you have never had something that has that high of fiber or probiotics that are that like powerful, maybe you don't start with maybe you don't start with a full serving. Maybe you start with like a half scoop, because it could like leave you running to the bathroom or feeling stopped up for a few days. Your body just probably isn't used to that level of fiber, because we don't eat enough fiber in our diets typically. So I just suggest to certain people to taper up, like in your serving size. And it's totally fine to do that. It's just, 1 scoop a day is technically what you need for like your daily vitamins, nutrients, probiotics, prebiotics. Okay, I've been talking straight for like 30 minutes. So I thought I'd open it up now, and like everybody can ask questions, and or just say like what you're apprehensive about, and maybe we can help give you like the right solution to work it out, And if you want to unmute yourself, you just like hover over your name and it gives you an unmute option. Oh, I should mention this because Megan asked me this. Like, when do you use the supplements? So some people got pre and post workout as opposed to Shakeology, or maybe you got all 3. So Energize is technically meant to be mixed with water, and you drink it about 20 minutes before you start your workouts each day. And you'll feel maybe a tingliness in your fingers. Some people freak out about it. I kind of love it. Kind of like obsessed with it now. It is the beta alanine in the Energize, totally normal. It's like there's nothing artificial or scary ingredient wise in it. It's just your body might not be used to it. So there is an adjustment. If you start moving, it probably won't even be noticeable to you. And then Recover is the post-workout, and I don't personally use it every day. Some people might. I will say I tend to use it more on days where I'm like, I know I'm going to be sore tomorrow. I lifted heavier, or my body feels a little more fatigued or something like that. But it really just helps to like repair your muscles a little bit more quickly, and it should help you bounce back a little more quickly for your workout the next day. If you do yoga, you might not need it, right? But if you do one of the upbeat strength or downbeat strength, and you know that your muscles are going to be sore, I would say use it. And you use it just right after your workout. You can make it actually into like a smoothie or like a shake type consistency and blend it. You can actually make popsicles out of it. I have to find that recipe again. Or like an ice cream type serving out of it. Somebody else posted that recipe. And then you can just drink it straight up. I think it tastes a little like chocolate milk. If that's not your thing though, you might want to blend it. You might want to add more water to it and make it thinner. And I almost always like to add ice to that for some reason. Don't feel like you have to use it every day if it's not really what you need. It does help with a sweet tooth though, especially if you are somebody who's prone to getting that like later in the day. So you can always save it for that time too. And I think that's it. The other supplements we could talk about. We have like a clean Gatorade and a nighttime like recharge drink. I don't really know that I have anybody using that, so I don't think I really have to spend a lot of time on it. Yeah, every blender makes the shake differently. Some are just really crappy, and so they make you like not like it at first. But I just say there's also a lot of sweet treat options you can make with Shakeology, like that mug cake I posted the other night, which is super good. Anything else? Everybody's quiet. Okay, well, if you come up with anything, just post it in the group. I know, like, typically a lot of people feel uncomfortable at first posting in a Facebook group. I was like, I don't like social media. I'm not doing this whenever I first joined. And then I realized, like, the more I showed up, the better I was doing typically. So if you have questions, feel free to ask in there. I guarantee you'll get, a lot of people responding to you. And if you're having a question, somebody else is going to be thinking the same thing. So ask it in there. Use the group as much as you want for accountability. I think it really does help. And then please jump in like a group workout thread because it'll make things so much nicer. And we can do one of these like little status checks as we go too, because I think it does help just keep you engaged. 100 days is a long time to stay engaged if you're doing it over 100 days. So our goal is to obviously get everybody excited to just keep showing up. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to have like my last wine during the week this week, and then next week I'm getting on it. Molly, you with me? I can always count on you. All right. Well, if you have any other questions, well, I'm not giving it up completely, but I do think like just cutting it out during the week for me is my goal. So, All right, ladies. Well, keep kicking ass, and Monday it's going down for me. Bye, guys.